First off, I'm gonna start off with a disclaimer, do not judge my appearance.
No.
I just finished doing a men's Fashion Nova jewelry haul on my second channel. If you don't follow my second channel, please do. And I just decided to keep it on. I had to redeem myself with this video because sometimes we need to put some respect on a classic fragrance's name. Some fragrances in the designer space truly made such an impact to me that I consider them legendary status. Influential fragrances. Fragrances that potentially busted the door open for some of these niche brands. So I'm gonna put you on to 10 designer fragrances that I feel are legendary in the collection. Amazing scents. I wouldn't consider them dated, and you can absolutely pull them off now and still get the compliments that you're looking for. Let's roll my music because I feel like my neck is gonna turn green during the process of this video.
Girl, he turned green.
And I can't recommend fragrances that are sexy when I look like this. Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. Let's start right into this fragrance. These are all designer fragrances that I feel,
wait for it,
have a legendary status, have made an impact in the fragrance community and an impact in my space. Some of these fragrances are duplicate bottles that I've repurchased. Some have been gifted. Some barely get wear because they get lost in the sauce. But I gotta give props where props are due. And when fragrances I feel are legendary that still can stand the test of time in 2023 into 2024, I think it's my responsibility, my duty, my civil right to put y'all on. And the first fragrance is dusty as shit. This is as real as it's gonna get. I'm gonna take one of these breakfast napkins, clean this shit. I don't know why it's spilled or why it's dirty. Haven't worn this shit in a mighty minute. This is bottle number 2 of this fragrance, and it's just a disaster. But that's Mont Blanc Individual, the inspiration behind Original Santal by Creed. This is the OG, a revolutionary scent. This is the old school party type vibe, yet has all the character of an amazing office scent. Also in the space of the 𝗙𝐿𝐴 aka Jupe scent profile, but still a classical piece. A fragrance that hovers in that $20 space that can be pulled off in all situations, all vibes, all energies. I don't think that this is a dated scent. As a matter of fact, so many people are not wearing this fragrance that you can absolutely resurrect this joint from the dead for such a cheap price. Mont Blanc does not make trash fragrances. This one might be one of their best in their lineup and completely change fragcom as we know it. I mean, Creed did what most people can think of. Repackage it, put a nice label on it, fake a whole story, charge you $300 for something you can get for like $20. So Individual is a legend of designer fragrance. Next one. You can't talk about legendary cheap fragrances without mentioning Nautica Voyage, the fragrance that potentially took fragcom into another stratosphere. I think Jeremy listed this joint and probably still showcases this joint.
Before you buy, Nautica Voyage.
I think he's one of the first people to make this shit like globally known as such a dope cheapie with amazing performance, and it's still that. It isn't a completely unique or revolutionary scent, but what it did was take freshies with performance to a new level. Budget, cheap, salty, aquatic, blue, everything you want from a fresh fragrance, and we all know that fresh fragrances get more compliments than anything else. Your first introduction to perfumery was a fresh fragrance, and as an extraordinarily complimented scent profile that costs next to nothing, literally the same price of a cup of coffee nowadays, this Mont Blanc Voyage is a legendary fragrance. Next one. This is a fragrance that will never get used all the way, but it is a legend, and if you're over the age of 35, you absolutely had this or wore this at least twice in your life. 𝗙𝐻𝗃. Like, talk to me nice. This is the big boy. Look at this shit, the size of my hand. This joint was the go-to clubbing scent back in the day. And let me tell you that this incredible, sharp, sweet vetiver fragrance can still be pulled off and get massive amount of compliments. Stop sleeping on the joints that aren't hyped on the internet, because nobody in the real world cares about this. They care about that smell. You're gonna be unique. I would pick this 20 times at this point right now today over an Dior Sauvage EDT, because I just don't want to smell like the next dude. Trust me, shorties is tired of that shit. Dudes is tired of that shit. It's a scent profile that works, but it's like done, fam. That shit is completo, down, rapapola. But this shit still has a level of maturity, masculinity, sexy, and business class. 𝗙𝐾𝐿, legendary designer fragrance. Next one. I may be wrong, but I feel like this is one of the fragrances that put Tom Ford on the map. Tuscan Leather. Tuscan Leather is, I guess, maybe one of my first introductions and like, yo, wild, crazy, sexy leathers. I'd never personally smelled any sweet leathers like this in my life. I'm just used to old school fougere, soapy shaving foam, civet centric, castoreum. That's the old school scents that I think of. I think that this is the after generation scent, like that old school Chanel Anateas type vibe. This is like the new generation's Chanel, and like deep, rich, ultra masculine, just an element of sweetness. Let's start incorporating more sweeter elements into these rich fragrances to really enhance and change the perspective of what masculinity is. If this fragrance itself didn't switch the whole perception of leather fragrances or pretty much revolutionize the Tom Ford beauty industry, I don't know what is, but Tuscan Leather, legendary designer. Next one. In my introduction to gourmand fragrances, I'd never experienced something as photorealistic as a dessert slash aperitif Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. This is tiramisu done perfectly. This absolutely is worth every price. It's worth more than what we're paying for it. This can be easily put in a niche presentation and be charged $300, lightweight, and nobody's gonna complain about it scent-wise. Money-wise, we all complain.
Just shut the hell up.
In actuality, I have to give this a legendary title. If you haven't smelled this joint and you haven't either stepped into the space of gourmand, not interested in ultra sweet fragrances, or are just nervous that they're gonna come off too femme or childish, you haven't tried Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo. The most incredible coffee, liqueur, tiramisu, whipped cream, creme fraiche, freshly done. Like, this is gourmet restaurant luxury Michelin star energy. This shit is an absolute legend in the space, bro. I'm gonna wear this today, but I'm not gonna spray it on this fake ass jewelry because it will start dripping all over my sweater. Legendary. Next one. For me, this fragrance is whiskey suited and booted to the nines, CH Men Prive. The flippy top is an incredible, sweet designer whiskey with ultra BDE. Big dick energy.
I dropped my monster condom that I use for my Magnum Dong.
Citrus, leather, cardamom, lavender, fresh, sexy, boozy. Wild performance, beautiful, gorgrific scent profile. The original CH Man is a problem as well, but this one is so much richer and bolder that I think provided maybe a mild stepping stone into Carolina Herrera, really putting the pen to the pad, thinking of new concoctions to try to match these two CH Man DNA's energy. But were they able to pull it off? Can they match this same sex appeal, this masculinity, this Ultraman, this GQ male model on the cover type vibe? I gotta start doing some digging to find that out, but right now, CH Man Prive, legendary. Next one. I would call this an artistic piece of perfumery. A fragrance that had minimal hype at best, but the quality and the composition of the fragrance on its own puts it in a legendary status. We're talking about Guerlain L'Homme Ideal. I could only describe this fragrance as a perfect painting. The almondy note here is absolutely earthy, nutty, sexy, rich, deep, thought-provoking is what comes to mind when I think of this scent. Citrus attributes to add some liveliness and energetic presence to this almondy fragrance. But the body, the opening, the mid, the dry down, all facets and all layers of this fragrance are all absolutely beautiful and unique in their own space. This joint is such a sleeper when it comes to people who are interested in the art of perfumery but still want that mass appeal, sexy, unique energy. There's no way that I can't add this fragrance to the conversation. This joint is a legendary piece and absolutely beautiful. Next one. The next two fragrances are mass appeal problems. One of them being another incredible whiskey fragrance. Givenchy put their foot in this motherfucker because Gentleman Reserve Prive is insanity. To put it in simplest forms, damn near perfection. Powdery, boozy, aged wood, and pure sex appeal. Don't deny how awesome this scent is. It's perfection. This is literally positioning itself right next to this next fragrance, which is Dior Homme Parfum. Dior Homme Parfum and this one are like two, I mean, they're damn near identical color tones of rich, dark, sexy, powdery vibes. Just one is a lot more boozier than the other, but they're both equally sexy, warm, inviting, sexy, close encounter, date night. If you want to turn up, we could turn up. But if you want to turn down, after party style in my crib, breaking the sheetrock with the back of your skull, we could do that.
The best sex.
I want to give you scoliosis with the view of the back of your neck, full hip thrust.
Oh yeah!
I want you to sound off the alphabet while singing in the microphone. I want you to make me cry like my pacifier falling out of my mouth as a baby. Please. This is what these fragrances are.
Wait for it.
Legendary. How can I forget this fragrance? Hopefully I didn't forget this fragrance because it pretty much changed the game for Paco Rabanne in itself. This one set a precedence for freshies to step their game up because they have performance, sex appeal, and absolute high numbers when it came to sales. Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua. In the freshie space, this joint made all the noise. Unique, sweet, salty, fresh, citric, sour, mass appeal, wildly popular, F-boy energy, clubbing fragrance with incredible performance. You can still pull this shit off today, even though it has like 68 flankers under this umbrella. How you gonna tell me Invictus Aqua didn't change it up? Forget Invictus. I feel like Invictus Aqua made much more of a splash, much more of an impact, just kept that snowball effect to have Paco Rabanne continue that lineage based off of this particular fragrance. Not the first one. I say it was this one that changed it all, and I think it also made a huge impact in FragCom, saying that freshies like this can perform like this and get those compliments. Legendary, dog. 10 amazing designer fragrances that are absolutely legendary that can be pulled off today. All facets, dark, rich, boozy, statement pieces, masculinity, dressed up, dressed down, casual, sun up, sun down, summertime vibes, baby oil glistening all over your body, potentially tanning your butthole.
Lick my butthole.
Snap.
I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. What designer fragrance do you consider legendary that can still be pulled off today? Leave it in the comments below. I'll see y'all such next time. You know what it is. Biggest in the game. Is my neck green yet? It's gotta be, right? I feel a rash coming in. Smooches.
He don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.